right and wrong, might and power? Well, that is for you to decide on your journey to Nidavellir.
Hello everyone! Welcome to the third and final episode of the Journey to Nidavellir launch week. This week has been a blast already, and we still have so much to share with you today. I'm Thiago, Loot Studios Community Manager, and I'm here to present to you guys this new project. If you haven't watched the first and second episodes yet, go check it out before you continue to watch this video. It's really important to understand what's going on. All you need to do is click the link that is going to be somewhere up here or in the description below. That being said, let's take it back a little bit anyway, just so everyone is up to speed. Last year, we released Journey to Valhalla, presenting this new Viking fantasy setting. We brought you to the land of Clike with its 3 human tribes and the monsters that inhabit the land. We developed all the tools that a game master needs to explore this setting, including the lore, 75 original highly detailed miniatures, and their stat blocks. This year, we decided to expand on this setting by launching Journey to Nidavellir and introduce one of my favorite fantasy races, Dwarves. In the first episode, we introduced you to the THOR clan with 14 characters, 6 objects, and Thor himself. And in the last video, I introduced the Wodengar clan with 12 characters, 6 objects, and Odin, the Allfather. But today, you are here to see the third clan, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, with you, KRYSTALLIZED, the Deep Dwellers. With the THOR and the Wodengar, we covered our bases on dwarves that you can use as player characters. But with the KRYSTALLIZED, we wanted to do something a bit different. We wanted to give you something new and original. Although you can certainly use them like that, they are not just evil dwarves. They have been dealt a bad hand and they are doing the best they can with it. You'll notice some crazy looking dwarves in this bundle, and that is by design. These dwarves live in the deepest parts of Utgard and have been affected by the raw power of Thunderstone in a way others cannot even begin to understand. For them, life is a struggle, and you either die a dwarf or live long enough to become something else entirely. And sometimes, even death is not enough to stop the spread of the corruption. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty details of every single model on our third Dwarven clan. Cod is the first of the KRYSTALLIZED because he represents the terrible fate that the corruption of the Deep Thunderstone can inflict. A savage warrior of the KRYSTALLIZED, brought low by madness. God is still a formidable foe, wielding his 2 axes, and he's still loyal to the Kragudor princess he's sworn to protect. Of course, you can use God as a player character or as a custom NPC. As a player, I would go with Hexblade Warlock. I mean, we did design the entire clan to be the edgy ones. Crystal Claws is another tale of corruption, but one that was changed by madness even more than God. The Kragudor are not necessarily evil, except when they are, and we wanted to represent that madness with some of the models in this set. That is why Claus has such a psychotic look on his face. He just absolutely revels in the carnage. That is something we're going to see a lot more of today. Another maddened Kragudor, the Chainer, is a risk seeker and a fighter that wields unusual weapons. Now, let's be honest here. That kind of guy that chooses to use chains as a weapon usually has a screw loose. So you might as well send him to deal with the giant crazy beasts of the underground. If he dies, no big loss, right? When we started this project, we knew we wanted to give a mounted unit to each of the clans. And with the Kragudor, we allowed ourselves to have a bit more fun. Combine those 2 things and you end up with the Chainer. And speaking of the Kragudor mount, the Giant Mole is basically the only option the Kragudor have. The Giant Moles have been corrupted by the contact with the cursed Thunderstone and attack any creatures with no crystallization. This made them unpredictable, but also incredibly tough and resilient. A perfect mount for the craziest of Kragudor to try and tame. These are a good representation of what the wildlife looks like near the heart of the mountain. And of course, we have a crystallized giant mole with no rider and no saddle, because we knew you guys were going to ask for it. The Lurker is a truly pitiful creature. Once the crystallization gets too bad, even the Kragudor know that the victim shouldn't be allowed near other people. The Lurker is someone who's too far gone to realize the danger he poses to other dwarves. He hides in the shadows, and his idle mind really thinks that that cloak is enough to hide the crystallization. Just one of the many sad tales of the Kragudor clan. The crystallized Kragudor is truly too far gone. In this stage of the corruption, the victim's mind is completely gone, and all they care for is protecting themselves and spreading the crystal's corruption. With this particular creature, we want to showcase the body horror aspect of the crystalline corruption that has taken over the Kragudor. We have created a lot of mutated and weird characters for this clan because the Kragudor have truly been dealt the worst of hands by the gods. It is not only the Kragudor who ventured too deep and let their greed overtake them. Wanting to reach the depths is the Dwarven nature after all. Some of the Thorzandur and Wodengar also seek for the treasures and glory in the deep underground. But corruption forgives no one's greed. Those dwarfs suffer the same fate as the Kragudor. They become crystallizing dwarfs. These lost dwarfs are all presumed dead by their people, but that would be a much better fate in reality. All of the Kragudor are tainted by the Thunderstone corruption to some degree or another, but this particular corrupted Kragudor is at the end of his life. The crystal has taken over his body like a tumorous growth, and his mind is long gone. By now, you should have realized that this clan is just filled with opportunities for you to use your translucent resin. You are welcome. Like the Wodengar, some Kragudor also seek to understand the Thunderstone and its powers. Many times they start researching its effects to rid themselves of corruption. Somewhere along the way, the Warlock finds a way to tap into the power of the corrupted Thunderstone. And being unable to cleanse their bodies, they decide to use the crystallization to their advantage. The name says everything, folks. This is the perfect Warlock or Cultist leader for your game table. Crystallimancy is the darkest magic the Kragudor have to offer. Instead of using the Thunderstone for its power, the Kragudor Crystallimancer wishes to control the crystal itself. He can force the crystallization to advance in a creature or awaken the crystal into a mighty golem. Although they only have control over one substance, not many spellcasters out there have the might to face the Crystallimancer's magic. Now, the Warlock that I showed you before could pass for a good guy, but we designed the Crystallimancers to be a no-holds-barred bad guy. And I'd like to say to the team, mission accomplished. These crystal golems are brought to life by the dark powers of the Crystallimancer, and they are given something that resembles sentience by corrupt rituals. They are fiercely loyal to their creators and can perform complex tasks when ordered to. The crystal golems are infused with the soul of another creature and become an extremely resilient threat, but with a weak spot known only to its creator. We call this one a golem, but it would also make a great elemental. I can't wait to see what you guys can do with this and translucent resin. Translucent Crystal is the heir to the Kragadur clan, or at least she was, before a political coup and the assassination of her father. After escaping certain death with a handful of trusted retainers, she's been wandering the underhalls, searching for two things. The first is a way of cleansing the corruption of her people. The second is Skad, her father's old advisor. This is one of the few Kragadur that has not succumbed to some form of Thunderstone-induced madness. She is an honest person and cares deeply for her people. This is Ori, the Old Monarch. Ori is the unliving proof that the Thunderstone madness can survive longer than its host. Hundreds of years ago, Ori was the ruler of the Kragadur, but abdicated the throne when he realized that he was about to be overtaken by the crystalline corruption. Ori perished alone in the tunnels, but the power of the Thunderstone awakened his body into a mockery of what the old king once had been. Ori has now returned to the Kragadur, and now rules the Kragadur from a haze of madness. Of course, as the Kragadur ruler, Ori also comes with a throne, the Crystalline Throne, available in 32 and 75mm. And this is the last character I have to show you today. But we are not done yet. Of course, busts. We couldn't leave the last Dwarven clan without busts. We are doing 3 busts for this clan as well, and I especially like claws here. We always try to pick the character from each set that will make the best busts. Unfortunately, we can't do busts of everything, but I think we made the right choices with this one. We also have some scattered terrain objects. We have a Kragadur-style chest covered in crystalline corruption. We also have a shelf filled with potions, an altar, a pillar, and a totem, all in the Kragadur Deep Dwarf style, so you can assemble your scenes and dioramas of the deep. Finally, we have a prop. It's the Rebirth Dragon Bracer. It's based on a Viking Torque bracelet and is one of the coolest pieces of jewelry we've ever made. And I guess this is it, guys. Okay. You all know the drill already. The Kragadur also have a god that they worship. Someone to shepherd these broken people through their journey. We dropped a bunch of clues, and a lot of you guys have actually already figured this one out. So, without further ado, Loki, God of Mischief. No one is really sure on why Loki took a liking to the Kragadur. Maybe he was the only one that realized they were all just victims of the norms. Or maybe, as a god of mischief, he saw an opportunity there that the other gods were blind to, a chance to cause a lot of trouble for everyone else. Either way, I love Lut's rendition of this trickster god. It's more grounded than what you tend to see around in other properties, and it really fits the general theme you are going for. Loki will be available in 32, 75, and statue scales as part of the Kragudur clan. And that was the Kragudur clan, with 13 characters, 6 objects, including the Bracer prop, and Loki, god of mischief, as their god. And with the Thorzadur and the Wodengar, this makes it a hell of a set. But there is something that I need to address before we are through. We dropped a bunch of hints in the last couple of videos, the trailer and in our community channels, and you all picked them up and ran with them. That's why we want to make clear for all of you that were expecting a monster set as part of this product, the wait is over. And this is our monster set. We couldn't miss the opportunity to create some beautiful creatures to populate this setting. Now, who else is excited to go over every single one of them? And let's start with a cute one. If you haven't heard of Ratatosk, the messenger of the gods, I wouldn't blame you. This is the messenger that runs up and down Yggdrasil, carrying messages throughout the realms. We wanted to make at least one cute and cuddly creature for the monster set this time, and well, this is it. And that's all the cute and cuddly we're gonna have for you today. We've filled that particular quota, let's rock this joint. And first off, let's talk about the crystal formations. Thunderstone that has been brought to life by foul magic, or that has animated on its own due to the corruption of the deep. The smallest ones are the giant crystal beetles. These vicious little bastards aren't much of a threat one-on-one, but they love to swarm from multiple directions and ambush unsuspecting victims in the deep dark places of Utgard. They also make great supporters for the next couple of entries in the list of crystalline formations. If the beetle is the support class, the giant crystal spider is the DPS and maybe even the tank all rolled into one. They can actually control weaker crystal formations, so while your party is distracted with the little beetles, the spider will sneakily drop from the ceiling and absolutely wreck someone. They roam the cavern ceilings, attracted to non-crystallized creatures. They can prey and impale with their spear-like legs. But you should be even more afraid of the next one in the list. The last crystalline formation is the living Thunderstone. She is the equivalent of a very powerful and very pissed off Thunderstone nymph. Her attacks are extremely powerful and she holds almost complete control over other crystalline formations. So she can show up with a gang of giant spiders and that will not be a fun encounter. Despite being quite evil, this one is also quite beautiful. We wanted every part of Journey to Nidavellir to have something interesting for everyone. There's a lot of cool things for players, and this one is designed as something cool for painters. We do have more of that later, But let's go back to some grossness now. The great bloodshed close to the corrupted Thunderstone tends to produce weird results. Like this one, the giant crystallized remains. The crystal is able to warp the remains into a gigantic cluster of bones and necrotic energy that vaguely resemble a humanoid and that has vestiges of sentience. They are basically a walking graveyard. This is a large giant. It's both fairly gross and fairly big, but it's definitely not the biggest thing we have for you today, but more on that later. And now we get to see some of my favorite creatures from this set, the Valkyries. Wait, didn't we already do Valkyries last year? Well, not like this. I present to you the Fallen Valkyrie. These are the faithful warriors of hell. These are the ones that steal the souls of the honored warriors from right under Odin's nose. They roam the realms ready to collect more souls for Hell's army and to convert other Valkyries to follow a new queen. A fallen queen. Herja is the most powerful Valkyrie in Hell's legions, and she can only be challenged by Odin's Valkyrie queen. She's Hell's champion in Utgard, and in any other realm where the goddess of the depths has some issue that needs solving. She is Hell's most trusted general and a force to be reckoned with. Remember when I said we had some more models made with painters in mind? Well, there you have them. They are beautiful, but also sort of sad and melancholic. So it's a different kind of beauty than what we've done with angelic beings before. This one was painted by Felipe from Cayenne Studios. Just look at the skin work, the non-metallic metal on the blade and on the details of the shield, the feathers, just absolutely beautiful. But let's move away from beautiful things and talk a little bit about the main issue that Thorzadur face underground. Trolls. And let's start with the Troll Thresher. Why did we call him that? Because that's what he can do to your party. Bad puns aside, these guys are the sneaky trolls, and they actually get to use sneak attack. Good luck seeing their attacks coming in the deep dark of the underhalls. These creatures will sneak behind the Thorzadur battle lines and attack while they are distracted. Now, what could possibly be distracting the dwarves when they should be fighting the Threshers? Well, it's time to talk about the Troll Siegebreaker. This is the slow frontline fighter of the Troll Society, as it were. They are experts in breaking down the defenses of the Thorzadur and are an absolute nightmare to anyone who depends on their armor for their armor class. They are big, self-regenerating siege engines. Oh yeah, if you were not aware, trolls regenerate. If your party doesn't have access to some magical damage, good luck. You may have noticed some aesthetic similarities between these last two. They have a tribal theme going on. They are also part of a set, just like the Valkyries and the crystalline formations were. With these ones, we want to give you some flexibility, so you can have whatever type of troll you want. And the third part of this set is the Troll Witch. They use beads and bones to perform occult incantations and conjure spells from divination to evocation. So, we had the sneaky troll, the beefy troll, and now we have the spellcaster troll. I like to think of this one as a troll hag. Whew, well, that's a disgusting combination. Congratulations, Thiago, you just gave yourself nightmares. I've been waiting for this one. This next character is our last troll and the first of 3 huge giants that we have for you today. Morbiscan is the leader of the Troll Menace under the mountain. He came into power by being the biggest, baddest, and smartest troll around, but also by being the most cruel. The trolls were already troublesome before he came around, but once he came into power, they got organized. He's the whole reason the Thorzadur are having so much trouble. Look at how big this guy is. Now, let's move to another of our huge giants. These ones live above the surface and are the ones the Wodengar have to face on a regular basis. The Rungnir steer clear of the cold mountains preferred by the Rimturs and of the volcanic grounds preferred by the Eljotnar. They like rocky crags or the bases of mountains with a temperate climate, which can be a little bit of a nuisance for the Wodengar because that is basically where they built their settlements. The rocky bodies of these stone giants are natural armor, and they are very, very powerful, but also very, very dumb. And that is why they need the help of the last character in this set. Two-headed and four-armed, the Starkadir is a giant menace in the battlefield. Not only because of its power, but also because they tend to be natural leaders of other intelligence-challenged giant folk. These are some of the most ingenious giants, able to build complex societies and develop metal weapons and armor. After all, two heads think better than one. The Starkadir are kind of bigger and better at-ins for your table. They are also the perfect giants for us to end our coverage of this amazing monster set. So, that's it folks. These were just some of the creatures that live on and in Utgard. Pretty awesome, right? Now, before you all start to ask, because we know you will, does the monster set also come with a god? Well, yes, of course it does. Do you think we're nuts? Ladies and gentlemen, players and painters of all ages, Loot Studios has the honor of presenting the Goddess of the Depths. Holy crap, just look at her! Hell, the Goddess of the Underworld. The Mother of Monsters is the power behind the vilest creatures in the Underhalls, having bolstered their forms with her wicked magic. Of course, Hell comes in two different versions. One of them with a perfectly normal face, and one of them with her mythological half-dead visage. Just like the other gods, Hell will also be available in 32, 75, and statue scales as part of the monster set. This is Journey to Nidavellir. 85 incredible models spread across 3 Dwarven clans and a monster set. And of course, 4 incredible gods. I mentioned this in the first episode, but when we did Journey to Valhalla, a lot of you guys asked us to bring the Norse gods to life. Well, this is what Loot Listening to You looks like. We had to really put some elbow grease into this project, and after a lot of work, you can get this awesome collection. And we are not done yet. We have an extra bonus for each of the Dwarven clans. Yes, we created 3 awesome scenery objects that work as dice towers. The idea with this one was that they can work as a piece of decoration for your room, as a great centerpiece for a diorama, or as an awesome dice tower for your game table. For the Torzadur, we created Ironheart, a foundry-themed dice tower that our classic dwarves use to bring out the power of the Thunderstone. For the Wodengar, we created Spellhaven, because our wizard dwarves need a wizard's tower to go along with them. And for the Kragadur, we've made what must be my favorite terrain piece we've ever made, the Giant Skull Dice Tower. It's pure metal. Figuratively, of course, Loot Studios doesn't actually produce metal models, but look at how awesome this is! You'll be able to receive each one of these fully functional dice towers as part of their respective Dwarven clans. Now, after all of that, what else could we possibly have for you? Let's talk about some 5e content. Every single character you've seen us present during this week will have a stat block for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. But we decided to go a little bit further for Journey to Nidavellir and bring you Loot's first official adventure, Corruption Runs Deep. It's a one-shot adventure that you can use to introduce your players to the Journey to Nidavellir setting. We will have a free sample of this adventure available after this video goes live, so check the link in the description. And finally, the beautiful poster map of Utgard will be made available in PDF form as part of this adventure. Look at how awesome it looks. Okay, and now we are done. For real. Oh, excuse me. What is it? Uh-huh. I was gonna talk about that. I don't think they're ready for it. I can't do it. Someone's gonna have a heart attack. Are you sure? Okay, man. Whatever happens is on you. Okay, folks. Well, here's what you need to know. When Journey to Valhalla came out, we made our first gargantuan creature, the Kraken. We decided to continue the tradition of doing a ridiculously large creature, but this time we went even crazier. We dropped some hints on the trailer and in the previous videos, and without giving any spoilers, let's just say that something big and scary lurks in the heart of the mountain. This is Fafnir, Corruption Incarnate. Those of you with a handle on Norse mythology may have figured some things out already, but remember, no spoilers. Look at how large this is. This is an extra reward that won't be part of any of the bundles, but don't worry, I'll tell you the secret to getting this reward in just a little bit. Fafnir will be available in a bunch of different options. 32 and 75mm, 2 head options, and 2 wing options, one open and one closed, so you can mix and match them however you want to. And now it's complete. Pinky promise, I'm done this time. Loot Studios is honored to present Journey to Nidavellir. You are probably wondering now, okay, how do I get all of this. On Monday, December the 12th, at 10 a.m. Pacific time, we will send an email to everyone who subscribed to the launch week with the link to buy Journey to Nidavellir. We will sell 4 separate bundles, one for each Dwarven clan and one monster set. First, the THOR clan, with 14 original character models, 3 busts, a prop necklace, 5 scenery objects, the Ironheart Dice Tower, and THOR, God of Thunder. Then we have the Wodengar clan, with 12 original characters, 3 busts, a prop ring, 5 scenery objects, the Spellhaven Dice Tower, and Odin, the Wise One. We will also have the KRYSTALLIZED clan, with 13 original characters, 3 busts, a prop bracelet, 5 scenery objects, the Giant Skull Dice Tower, and Loki, God of Mischief. And finally, we have the Monster Bundle, with 15 minis, including 3 huge giants, and Hel, Goddess of the Depths. But of course, we will offer a combo with all 4 bundles for a discounted price. Every character will be available in 2 scales, 32 and 75 mm, pre-supported and ready for 3D printing. The adventure will be sold separately, but if you buy the combo, you will receive it for free. And lastly, but definitely not least, Fafnir will only be available as a bonus for those who buy the full Journey to Nidavellir set. It will work like one of our loyalty rewards. This means that if you go for the combo, you'll get a discount on the full Journey to Nidavellir set, plus the Corruption Runs Deep adventure, plus the poster map, and the Fafnir Dragon for free. If you already have a loot account, you get access to this new Journey set in our platform, just like you get access to your other loot products. If you are not a looter yet, you'll receive an email with your login information to our website. In there, you have lifetime access to your Journey to Nidavellir purchases, as well as any other loot products you get. A lot of you have probably been wondering about the price point for this product. We have mentioned it elsewhere, but it bears repeating. Journey to Nidavellir will cost you the same as our Journey to Valhalla set. But to commemorate the release of this new product, we will have a special price for 1 week. From December 12th, when we will make it available, to December 19th. Not only that, but Journey to Valhalla will also be available for a discounted price during that week. That's right, if you don't have Journey to Valhalla yet, this is going to be the time to get it. Finally, Journey to Nidavellir and Journey to Valhalla will be available together for a special discount. Yep, that's right. If you haven't yet, just subscribe in the link below, set your alarm to Monday 10 a.m. and be ready. You can't miss out on this offer, it will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. That's it, folks. Thanks a lot for sticking with us through this crazy week. Be ready for next Monday. Don't forget to subscribe below and leave your comment. See you around! Alas, poor Yorick, I killed thee well.
Boa demais.